Particularly, I also look at the infrastructural challenges that we have seen in the last few years. And from my experience, because I have played a long role in the projects domain and doing the PMO kind of role in the chemical sector, I see that the adoption of the technologies, particularly in the infrastructure, is probably a larger challenge than the technology itself. I think the technologies have been there, existing across the domain. Uh, Maybe due to the kind of the structural kind of balances across the chemicals, particularly the specialty chemicals, when we look at the last 6-7 years story, how the companies have actually evolved their structures. They have brought in professionals to kind of look at, structured problem solving. I think more so the adoption is growing. And I still look at it when we invested in a warehouse, which is like in, somewhere in Gujarat 5-6 years back. And as simple as technology, which is kind of a robotic, kind of to the, within the warehouse, how you kind of move the material, which is kind of the norm in the retail industry. But when we look at it in the chemical sector and the warehousing space, the kind of adoption which is happening is not really happening at a scale. So I think for me, that is kind of the first challenge that I think at a large scale, the chemical warehousing needs to adopt the technologies which are there available in the market. The second one that I see is the quality aspects of the materials. More and more when we are looking at the kind of value-added chemicals as a manufacturing companies, some part of the products that we manufacture, we also have large-scale issues in terms of quality. And many of them, when we start digging at the root causes, obviously emanates from how the materials are stored in the warehouses, both in the manufacturer's premises and, the warehouses which are away from the sites. In terms of the storages of the materials, I think the general norms are there. But for heavy, I would say, value-added materials, how a basic infrastructure needs to be created to a more probably robust and specific requirements need to be adopted in the warehousing. I think those are the areas that I see, some of us can work upon. The third one I would touch upon is the cost part. So as the industry, mostly, industry like us, how the chemical sector is going through in last 2-3 years, a lot of cost pressures. China, changed their strategy maybe 3-4 years back. And the logistics, as some of the previous panelists were mentioning, I think logistics is a kind of, there is a renewed focus on logistics and warehousing in India. And this is one particular area where we, I think, lag behind our competitors a lot. It's not only about China. There are other Southeast Asian countries who are coming up with the chemical supply chains very fast. So it's not really that we are competing with only China. How fast we can actually scale with our infrastructure, at the same time maintain the cost competitiveness that we have had, in the last few decades. So I think it's a problem of plenty. How do we scale at the same time? How do we kind of maintain our cost competitiveness? So all of them needs to be taken care of. Yeah.
Very valid point. Amazing. Yeah. Your experiences in that area.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, I would like to thank CHEMLOG and entire team here. We will be bringing all this, futuristic concept of 2030 kind of warehousing and, challenges which we'll have. But before that, I will just give you my introduction. And myself, Milind, I have around 25 years of experience in supply chain. Worked in the different verticals, right from procurement to logistics, then demand planning, forecasting, and all. So with respect to, I have seen with respect to warehouse and related fields, I have seen a lot of things which have been changing in last 2 decades. So right from the infrastructure, then the kind of, safety and environment and sustainability part, which is now, at least we are discussing to, considering next 10 years of the requirement from the industry. And that is a good change which I have seen in last 10 years, I would say. Looking at the changes which we have done when we have implemented, when I work with some of the companies, so we started using the solar panel for the rooftops because when we discuss about sustainability and all, so we check our plant whether we have any kind of opportunities where we can put the solar rooftops and we can save or generate some energy which will be used for captive use and all. Then we started rainwater harvesting because all these warehouses are having a lot of rooftops, but all the water which was, was not getting properly channelized. And there was a lot of wastage over the period of last 3 to 4 months, especially during the monsoon. So these are the small, I would say, baby steps which we have taken within premises to, utilize whatever infrastructure what we have. So, and that definitely it has give better results in terms of, sustainability part also and in terms of creating the awareness as well. So I would say going forward also 2030 when we look for the warehouse, main elements or the pillars would be one is sustainability. So right when like earlier when we used to find a warehouse, we talk about we need some 20,000 square meter of space or something like that. But now the requirement gone up. People start talking about the sustainability part, then robotics or data security part, then technology part, and then all the space management, not only on ground but on vertical part also. So I think that all that needs are coming up from the society, and which is really helping for the kind of infrastructure which we'll be building over the period of next 5 to 10 years. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pharma.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, switch on there. Is it okay?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be a part of the forum. I have been with VTrans for more than 13 years now. Been basically in the express distribution vertical of VTrans, which is V Express. For the last couple of years, I've been in the warehousing division, which is V Lodges. With my practical experience for the last 2 years, this is what I would like to break it up into. One is what we are doing at present and what is going to be the future 5 years down the line. I will broadly break it up into 5 segments. One is the infra part. Second is the chemical material and safety, because chemicals, we need to be very, very careful when we are handling them, when we are dispatching them. So that's a very important part. Thirdly, with respect to occupation, health and safety, also very important, because we have people managing it, so we need to take care of their health, their well-being. The fourth part would be the environmental sustainability. Again, a very, very important part, and I would also like to brief as to, what we are doing, what we as a company are doing with regards to that. And the last part would be with regards to compliances and standards, what it will be going forward. With regards to the infra, we have a 100% chemical facility available with us at Bhiwandi, which we call it as Chem Store. And we started this facility 5 years back. This stores both has as well as non-has chemicals, and we have all the required compliances in place to operate that particular facility. In fact, the building structure is as per the IBC and the AFPA design. That is what we have done here, and we have implemented that in totality. All our warehouses pan India. Other than this, we have a CCTV controlled operation as of now, which is controlled from our sign office. So we do that. We have safety drills in place. We have external safety audits, which happens twice in a year. And we have regularly, once a week, there are safety drills which happens at all these warehouses. And most importantly, we ensure that, all these warehouses have compliances. Specifically at Chem Store, we have what is known as VESDA systems, which is a highly sensitive sensor in case of any fire alarm. Most importantly, we have also installed water curtains there. So if any fire breaks out, which touchwood hasn't happened, the fire won't come inside, the fire won't go outside, nor will the fire come inside. So all these compliances have been built in. this is what is there at present. What do I see in future? 5 years down the line, we will have IoT sensors in place to track smoke, to track temperatures. Most importantly, AI-backed CCTVs, which will ensure what is happening at the warehouse, whether the staff has been wearing the PPE or not. We will also have smart racking. Smart racking, the automation with regards to pick-up, put-away will be totally automated. This is what I see happening over the next 5 years' time. With regards to chemical storage, we have the required compliances, but I see going forward, there will be more of requirement for PESO. So possibly I see dedicated warehouses coming up for PESO. I see dedicated warehouses coming up for class 5 chemical items, which is peroxide. That is something which I see happening. Also, most importantly, today, a drum at my facility doesn't carry more than 200 liters. But going forward, I see warehouses where possibly you will have drums which stores more than 500 liters. So that is where I see it going forward. With regards to occupation health safety, we have a health checkup which happens for all our employees. But going forward, I guess the warehouse would be ergonomically designed. That is what will happen with our 3PL facilities as well as with corporates pan-India. That is what is likely to happen. With regards to environment sustainability, what we do as of now, specifically with regards to this 100% chemical facility that we have, is that we have a 4 lakh liter fire pump facility which is there. Okay, so it is filled with water. We have a 4 lakh liter containment pit. So in case of any fire happening and I douse out the fire, that everything will go into this containment pit, thereby not damaging the environment elsewhere, because at the end of the day, it is somewhere close to the city. So we don't want the environment to get damaged. So we are serious about this. So this is what we have done. And going forward, what I also see is we are rolling out solar panels at our facility. So possibly by mid of next year, you know, the electricity will be totally on solar panels. That's what we will be doing. And with regards to compliances, we have all the required compliances in place. But I guess 5 years down the line, it would be something with regards to green certification. I see leadership in energy and that thing happening, as well as the Indian codes happening. We'll have this approvals. And as Ronak Bhai also pointed out in the morning, we do a lot of plantation. Okay, so as to reduce the carbon footprint. So that is something which we'll keep doing.
Excellent. So, okay. Thank you everyone for sharing the insights on what you're currently doing. As the topic says, 2030, right? So we are about 5 years away. I always say that India behaves very well when we have a crisis in front of us. COVID showed us the way. When the whole world was struggling, we developed our own vaccines. We even donated it to a lot of countries. When everybody was complaining about trains, we showed the world that we have Vande Bharat. I love Vande Bharat, so I am a train commuter. So even if that Vande Bharat train is half an hour late, I don't worry because it reaches the destination very well. So that way we will wrap it up by 1:15. So same way, this 10 minutes quick commerce. A lot of people will say that, hey, ambulance takes 25 minutes to reach, whereas the pizza comes in 10 minutes. So I think we all behave very differently when we have a challenge in front of us. Chemical industry, in my view, is no exception. All of us spoke about the disturbances that are happening in the global, the shift that's happening, all of that. So I have 2-3 questions to the panelists to answer. The first and foremost is, while we talk about 2030, what is it that one thing, I'm not talking about your company alone, but we have a lot of SMEs. For them, compliance is a big cost. We have a lot of companies which are not even aware of the basic requirements. So what, in your opinion, is that one thing that we should do collectively in order to become the good to great transformation in 2030? Over to you.
Yeah, so I think a very, very important question in the context of the ongoing events. And more so when we talk about the collaboration across the value chain in the logistics, the warehousing and logistics, and how the manufacturing companies like us ultimately can collaborate. Uh, I see mainly two, three areas. One area is the data and the information paradigm shift. What do I mean by that? Uh, if we look at it currently, there's a lot of information which gets stored when the material moves in and out, right? Now, as the requirements are shifting, the data is not just about in and out, it is also about when the material is stored, what kind of things are happening when the material is within the warehouse or at a particular location. So I think collaboration in terms of data exchanges, obviously putting in the infrastructure for that, I think that's kind of one of the important aspects. The second aspect is there's a lot of companies who have come up with obviously 3PLs as kind of an decades old concept. But when we look at it from the chemical manufacturing and the supply chain perspective, I think the penetration of the multimodal or the complete integrated solutions, as I see in particularly our domain, can be much, much deeper. And there have to be sort of custom solutions when we talk about the chemical manufacturing supply chain. As good as, I mean, when we start talking about the non-has products movement, obviously there are people who have got that expertise. But when we start talking about the has and non-has both, I think the kind of the value chain that we have, I think it can be much more deeper and sharper. And the value chain can be complete in its own sense. And the services kind of can be the full spectrum services. So I think those are the two, three areas where I see a collaboration happening at scale across the value chain from manufacturers like us and the other partners.
Perfect. How about you?
Yeah, I can see see there are so many challenges, but equally there are so many opportunities. So if I say so many, considering 2030 requirements, we see EHS norms will be there, or the data security will be there, technology will be there. But I feel like we need good resources or trained resources who can handle all these elements of 2030 kind of concept what we are discussing. Like we discussed a few minutes back about the drivers and all, that is the, I feel, the great area which we need to deep dive into it and do something, really to come up and to bring that level up to 2030, how our driver will look like, how our driver will, carry. Yeah, we should be aware how they will carry the goods in proper way, safe way from one destination to other. I think that is more challenging because technology and everything, as we say, a lot of startups are there, but for driver and other things, there is no any startup. I would say there we need to go into and do on own kind of efforts to make it possible. So that is what I feel that is the most kind of area or most priority area which we need to look into.
Thank you. Thank you. Param, your perspective.
To answer to what the panelists had to say, we already have data protection in place. I think that was a query which the panelists had, because there's a lot of data which will be exchanged. So how do you protect data? So at VTrans, we've already introduced this. You can't take out data through a pen drive. We have implemented DLP, data protection has already been done. In fact, customer endpoint also it's been done. So nobody can switch data. Access is restricted. Access is largely restricted only to the people who are primarily, taking care of the day-to-day operation. So access is not given to everybody. So we have taken it because we see that going forward to be a major thing, where data will definitely be exchanged and I could be the sole service provider for that particular customer. So we are definitely taking care on those lines. So that is definitely happening. But yes, there are challenges. There are challenges in terms of, see, there is a cost which is incurred for making a compliant warehouse. So is the customer willing to pay for that? That is something. And typically, your cost compliant, your compliant warehouses are slightly outside city limits. So there is a higher transportation cost which is there. So are the customers willing to pay extra for that? So that is the balancing which is required to be done. And that is where, I would like the corporates to also support, because at the end of the day, it's not only erecting the warehouse that is the thing, but also maintaining it where there is a cost involved. So that is where, I would appreciate corporates supporting us and, getting things forward.
Very good. Thank you. So I like the Sanjay's offer of offering 1,000 rupees
Sir, I
divided
would-
by number of
I-
people,
if
but
that-
instead of me paying, he's going to pay for that this time also. So a quick 30-second, before I open the floor to the audience, a quick 30-second question to each one of them, all of them rather, on the cost.
I want to add something.
Sure,
In case
go ahead,
time
go ahead,
permits.
go ahead.
So basically, a few months back, I was at SIS College Nerul. So they started one course or MBA course, especially in supply chain. There I find one subject on transportation. So, and I find almost out of 60 students, more than 15 to 20 students are female, or girl students.
Oh, very good.
And they were asking about all this kind of, they have a lot of concerns, like how